Hey, thanks for tuning in to In the Trenches with Chris and Chris.
Welcome. We'd like to give a shout out to all military personnel, past and present, and all first responders.
Thank you very much. Also, on a side note, I just wanted to give a little shout out to Dixie's Barbecue in Bellevue, Washington. Going through a little bit of trouble last time I was there. That she said that the people that she's renting that property from trying to take her contract out and just kind of move her away. I love local businesses. We're big.
I've never been there before, man. But dude, I want to be there like right now eating barbecue.
Dude, it's super cool. They have a brick wall like where you do your order in the back, and it's signed by some old school like Seahawks and some just super famous people. Really cool thing, man. So Dixie's Barbecue, Bellevue, Washington. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yep. All right. So we are going to be reviewing another movie tonight. We watched 13 Hours. I watched it. It was like my fourth or fifth time probably watching it, but you're first.
It was my first time.
Yep. I did take like a fair amount of notes this go through. I do really like this movie. You liked it too. It's an awesome movie, dude.
This has become instantly one of my favorite military movies, especially if you're into military movies. This is right up your alley.
Yeah,
so
and
really good.
Yeah, I know. I heard some like interviews from some of the guys that it's based on. It's a true story, and they consulted like on the movie and stuff. Chris Pronto, and I think another guy were both consultants for the movie.
So give us a little bit of a rundown. I know you've seen it about 4 times. So let's hear it.
Yeah, let's go. Start from the beginning. So this takes place. It takes place in Libya, Benghazi, Libya. It's right after Gaddafi was taken out. He was assassinated. It's about a year after, I think, but the country is still just in turmoil. He was assassinated October 20th, 2011, and this movie takes place in like early September 2012, and September 11th, 2012 was when the attack and the 13-hour gunfight took place. And so I mean the country just went through kind of like a civil war, like uprising, through the dictator out, and the airport, when they get there, everything you see is just real bullet holes and pretty shot up and everything.
God. Not to even mention that has the sexy as ever Jim from The Office.
Yeah.
John Krasinski.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. I don't either. You don't have to. But,
no. But Jim from The Office.
Yeah, he's always going to be Jim from The Office. He can grow as many beards as he wants to, but that's who he is.
He's ripped.
Yeah.
He's super ripped.
Yeah, super ripped now. And
I guarantee you Dwight doesn't fuck with him now.
Yeah, no, Dwight would never. He wouldn't have the balls, dude.
It's a story for another time, unless Dwight is also.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. The movie is kind of based around his character, it's Jim, only super swole, big beard, hiding his like fix it Felix face, and his character's name is Jack Silva. Yep, and so like when the movie opens, it kind of shows like him with like his family and stuff, doing family stuff, and then he takes a CIA contract. They're all, like, the main characters in the movie are all ex-military, basically contractors for the CIA.
Starts off right off the bat, like, really cool. Just action all through the movie. Super entertaining movie. One of the coolest parts starting out right at the beginning is when they run into this blockade.
Oh, yeah, the roadblock, dude. That was awesome. So, Jack... gets picked up at the airport by Roan. It's a guy that he has done a few deployments with before, so they're friends already. And so he picks him up at the airport, and they run into this blockade. Right off the bat, pretty much.
It masterfully tears this thing apart.
Yeah.
Just mentally annihilates this blockade with a little maneuver we call confidence.
Yeah, you have a little confidence game that he plays with the leader of the militia that set up like the roadblock. You want to do it, dude? It's so this is Roan. He's kind of the leader of the GRS team, which are the contractors of the Global Response Unit, and so they're pulled over.
Look up.
Yeah, nice. He's like,
You see it?
no. No.
It sees you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ready to take you out at any given moment.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah, and so I mean, dude, like the guy, like the leader of the militia group that's there, like totally backs down, thinks that there's a drone above him, but he's just BSing. It's all just Bravo Sierra.
He got through it.
Yeah, they're driving away from the roadblock, and Jack Silva is like, dude, we have air support like that. And he's like, dude, we don't have any support. What are you, crazy? Yeah, that was pretty good. That was funny.
That was excellent. You know, like, and that part right there, that's just the start off the movie. It's literally not a dull part in this movie, which really grabbed my attention, which really, and the fact that I'm super interested in always learning more about Benghazi, and, you know, whether it's seeing a movie about it just for entertainment purposes or seeing, like, realistic fact. I happen to take this as a little bit of both because, as you said, they even consulted with the people that were actually in Benghazi. Yeah,
this is the story of Benghazi, basically according to the GRS, soldiers.
Yeah. No. Super awesome.
Yeah, really cool. So after that, they arrive. Like I said, they're contracting for the CIA. They arrive at the monitoring post where a lot of the movie takes place. And they basically get to know everybody, meet the CIA chief who's in charge there, a couple of the CIA operatives, and the rest of the GRS team.
Right.
Which is, we can go through, so we got Jack, Roan, and then there's my favorite guy, Chris Peranto, his friend Boone, and then this is like huge, like half bear, half man named Oz, like big, just hairy guy. Most of them have like huge beards, and they all...
Right.
Yeah, it's almost when the action gets pretty thick, it's almost kind of hard to tell them apart sometimes. I was getting like Roan mixed up with Oz because they both just have like big
bushy beards.
Beards. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yep, they do that, and they once they get there, Jack kind of gets settled in. He's the new guy. Everyone else has been there for a little while. Gets settled in. They do a few like security missions for the CIA. Basically, the CIA, they're there trying to like buy back weapons from like big different militia groups that got like U.S. weapons that we sold to, I believe, the rebels that overthrew the government there.
Right.
Yep. And so they go on these missions, and everything. It's really sketchy. Like they see some bad signs, they have to abort and just pull out of one mission, head back to the CIA base right away. And so that happens, and then talk about the next cool thing I've written down is talk about the buyback program, which I think is kind of hilarious, just as it is. But the squirrely guy, they're meeting with one of the militias to like buy back some of the weapons. Remember that guy? That was just like, dude, he was like tripping.
Yeah, when he was about to he was about to annihilate him until he gave him a little bit of that action.
Yeah, and they're reading their Feb 17 is what they're called, which is the date of the overthrow of the government, I think. And so they're kind of like a pro-America militia. They're the biggest and most well-armed militia in the area. And they are kind of also contracting through the CIA. They're working with, the CIA and GRS, so the local, kind of good guys. Like they're the good guy militia in the movie.
I guess would you say maybe like they would be considered the least of the bad guys over there, or okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are like good forces and stuff. I mean, it's the main attack. Like when it goes down, like you see ISIS flags and stuff, like going from the back of their technical trucks and like other stuff. It's like ISIS, but there's also good factions there too. There's a lot going on. Like I said, everything's in turmoil. There's a bunch of different militias. And so there's probably a few like pro, like, because America was there doing their proxy war with Iran and everybody and Russia. But there are some pro-American militias too. And February 17th is the one they were working with.
Oh, God. Yeah. Thank God for those guys.
Dude,
that we'll get to later on.
Yeah, they come through big time. Like towards the end, it was awesome. Yeah. And so basically after that, there is an ambassador from the United States, Christopher Stevens. His name might seem familiar because he's a very key part of the story. He winds up getting murdered over there, and that's a big reason why him showing up, and he gives like some inspiring speeches and stuff about like rebuilding the government and getting things back on track, and gets like a lot of press. I think probably too much press, because I think that kind of sets things in motion too. Anyway, after he gets there, he has like 3 State Department security guards. Basically, that's all he's there with. And so the CIA and the GRS team kind of go out to the consulate where he's staying. It's not the CIA base. And they kind of meet him, and he's giving a speech, and Tonto's like falling asleep during the speech, and he kind of gets chewed out a little bit. And so that just basically kind of sets everything up. This Chris Stevens guy, he was kind of like the detonator. Like riots break out is kind of the next thing that happens, right?
Yeah. I honestly, I until you brought up the fact that he almost fell asleep during the press conferences or whatever they're having. I totally forgot that part. I went right to the riots, but I was thinking in my head, oh yeah, because he almost lost a job in the movie. He said, one more thing like that, you're going back.
Yeah, he's getting chewed out.
There's a million other people like you that want to be here.
Yeah. The GRS guys, they're the main guys in the movie, and they kind of get just looked down upon by the CIA like personnel there. Like at first, they just kind of treat them like they're just the grunts, and we're the CIA, fancy intelligence operatives, and so they're kind of dicks to him at first, but they come around after
they realize they need them
like a million times. Okay, so dude, like we're getting close to like the actual like the meat of the movie. These riots start out, and you can kind of see like in the background Love TVs, and it has like news channels saying like, okay, riots in Libya. They're not worried about it. Like nobody really seems worried about it like at all at first. And they're saying like there's a cartoon movie on YouTube that got a bunch of people fired up in Libya, and that's what started the riots. And we'll get into a little bit more about that later. So you can see the news reports on the TV. But nobody is worried about it. Like really on September 11th, it says, the date. And most of the GRS guys, it looks like they have the day off. Like, they're hanging out by the pool.
Right.
Like just kind of chilling in like their little, temporary barracks or whatever. Just kind of hanging out. And then they get the word that the embassy was attacked. And it was basically like the riots. They marched up to the embassy, and they're there, they mean business.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. After they hear about the attack, dude, they all they mount up, right? There's that scene where everybody's like grabbing their guns, pictures of your wife and kids and everything. They just grab all their gear. They get into their Humvees. They're like at the gate of the CIA compound, right? Like ready to go, ready to help. But they don't get the order to go, and they don't get the order to go, and they don't get the order to go,
and they request to go.
They
request multiple times to go. The order will not be approved for them to go.
They can hear the guys at the consulate, the State Department guys, raiding me, and is like, dude, if you guys don't show up, like we're dead, like we're all gonna die. There's like a huge just mob of people outside. I mean, they set fire to the embassy, and it's basically like Chris Stevens and like these 3 dudes. There's like one tech guy and then 2 other guys who were like pretty cool. I think like Rick and Dave, I think were their names, the guys in the mustache contest.
Yep. The black dude and the white dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Rick kind of turned out to be a chucklehead a little bit. He was a little bit shell shocked after the attack. But anyway, they're waiting to go, and basically they don't get an order, which turns
brutal
into
attack,
they
by the way.
get a stand down or sort. Yeah.
Just like in the movie, is this comparative to what happened in real life when they lit diesel on fire inside?
I think so. Yeah, I mean
they got black smoke rolling in under the brutal attack.
No, a lot of our guys survived, and I mean that's where a lot of the material for the movie comes from. Is just from what they said happened. So anyway, so where we're at now, embassy is on fire. The 2 guys, not the tech guy, the 2 other State Department bodyguards for Chris Stevens, take him into the bathroom. And these dudes are dumping diesel all over the floor, light it on fire, all this. I don't know why they don't put a towel under the door of the bathroom. That's what I thought straight away.
I thought about that straight away as well. But how well does that actually work?
It would keep the smoke from coming in.
At least immediately.
Yeah.
Give you a minute.
Yeah.
One would think, right? I've never been in a situation, but I've always seen it in movies and stuff where you can put the towel underneath a crack.
And they probably wouldn't have done that well, if they stayed in that bathroom.
Like eventually the smoke's gonna come through.
Yeah.
It acts probably like a filter. Or
Yeah.
like a,
Well, they could have kept it cool in there for a while with the towel, and then because they have to leave anyway, you know, to get out of there. It's basically like a mansion that they rented or whatever instead of a consulate, and this bitch is burning it down. I mean, there's like thick black smoke like coming up under the door and stuff.
Yeah.
And eventually they have to like get out of there because the house is gonna burn down, and so Dave makes it out. And Rick, the other guy, the white dude, is with Chris Stevens, but loses him in the smoke. And then he, like after a while, after like kind of valiantly, I guess, trying to go back and find him a few times, like he makes it out with Dave, and he's like, "Dude, I lost the ambo, I lost the ambassador. Like, that guy's gone."
No, this dude is the dude that's puking afterwards.
Yeah, he's puking and
totally shell shock.
This dude, like he's messed up. And
just went through hell.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, hell's just getting started really for him, but just went through the beginning stages.
It gets so much worse, but he's pretty shell shocked. Yep. And so anyway, there is a stand down order for the GRS team, according to them. They eventually do decide to break it because they hear the guys on the radio, screaming for their lives, basically, and they take off and go to the embassy. And so they get there, they run inside a bunch of times trying to find the ambassador. Nobody can find the ambassador. Basically, they set up the State Department guys with their own car, and they know how to get back to the they're supposed to know how to get back to the CIA outpost, but they don't really, because the shell shocked guy is the one that's driving for whatever reason. They even ask him like, "Are you sure you're okay to drive?" And he's like, "Yeah, I look like I'm dying." And he's always like, "Yeah, turn left right when you get out of here to go back to the CIA post."
Yes.
Right?
Multiple times I was told to turn left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a bunch of times. They drive out in like this. It's an armored vehicle, thank God. It's like an armored Mercedes or something that they took. It was Gaddafi. It was like one of his personal cars. They had like a fleet of his armored vehicles at their disposal, which was lucky.
Super.
Yeah, because this guy goes out, he drives out the gate, and immediately like there's somebody
does he take a
throws
left?
a Molotov. No.
Oh, what's he do?
He takes a right.
Huh.
And then he like there's people in the street like with guns and stuff, and he's like and he backs up, and he goes forward again. Then it goes left in a big circle, and then eventually circles around and goes right again. And then they take off, and basically they go through. There's like a really kind of cool like chase scene where they go through the streets of Benghazi, getting like people throwing Molotovs at the car, like just shot to hell. I mean, destroyed. The GRS team, I think, makes it back to the CIA outpost before they do. Like, they can see, like, what's going on. Like, crap, we just got to go back. But I think they roll up after the GRS gets there, and, dude, this car is, like, toasted. It rolls in, like, 4 flat tires, like, still burning on the outside of it. I mean, just shot to hell. Like, some of the windows, even though they're, like, hardened, bulletproof windows, are, like, shot out. And, yeah, so they did eventually make it. I mean, but, yeah.
They roll in to this thing, like... right when the last car comes in, or right when their car comes in, smoke just billowing out of the back of it. The thing's about literally to just like one of those cartoons where the car
just breaks in half like an egg
and just like pieces out.
Yeah, it was done. Anyway, that was another really cool scene. I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of them. And so we got everybody. There's 25 CIA personnel, the GRS team, and a couple state guys back at the CIA compound.
Yes.
And this is
airport.
where, Nope, not the airport. Yeah, the CIA, listening outpost, basically.
This is where they're about ready to take positions on each one of the buildings.
Yeah, this is the huge battle.
Yes.
This is where like the big battle of the movie takes place. Because they got done, they went, they destroyed the embassy, lit it on fire, like this huge mob of people. Which you find out later with just seeing all the ISIS flags and stuff. Like, it's terrorist groups basically, maybe working together or just all ISIS. They go from the embassy and they turn their attention towards the CIA outpost. Like I said, so first it's just a wave of people on foot, with AKs and all this stuff. They basically, they shoot a bunch of these guys attacking them. They're set up, they're professionals. They're set up on the roofs of 4 buildings, A, B, C, and D building, and they smoke a bunch of these people and they pull back.
This next part aggravates me so much. And look, I've never been in the military, nothing like that, but this would just, it aggravates me because I care for the people who are in the military or the people who fight to keep this country safe. Well, you see this car come up, and if am I going ahead too much?
I think that is ahead. That's after some of the firefight. Like,
So it's after the first wave, then there's a second wave, then the car.
Yeah.
I forgot about the second wave.
Yep. The second wave. That's where they had the bus scene, which is pretty cool.
Oh, dude!
They say like heavy ordnance
Badass
comes
scene.
off the bus. Yeah. Yeah.
Badass scene, dude. Badass.
Yep. It's like the second wave of the attack, like you said, and they're bringing like it looks like like a mini nuke from Fallout or something, but they're carrying like off of this bus. They're gonna do something with it. But somebody on the team sees it and they just shoot the crap out of the bus and do big explosion.
Lit it up,
was cool.
dude.
Yeah,
Lit that fucker up.
Um,
And I think because they're night vision goggles, they were able to able to spot these.
Mm-hmm. And they say it they're like, we have night vision goggles. They can't see us. They're just picking like a bunch of people off. Yep. And then the big bus explosion, and then I think they pull back, and there's a kind of like a quiet period where everybody's kind of up on the roofs just waiting for the next attack to happen. They're kind of talking and everything. The French lady starts to get nice since she's getting her ass saved by the soldiers. She brings like Oz the big grizzly bear guy like a backpack full of candy bars and stuff. And
the humility level.
Yeah, comes down a lot.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And they request like not even attacks. Like GRS team, they ask her and the chief multiple times if they could just try to call in like a flyover. Not an attack, just a flyover. He says to put the fear of God and the USA into them. He's like, we do a couple flyovers with F-16s. There are some close enough by to where it could happen, but they refuse once again. Just like the stand down order, basically. Like the info they're getting from the Department of Defense and the State Department is just they don't get any support. Basically, they're just left there to die. Basically, I think so doesn't get a lot of publicity. Like in the end, and we'll get there, but yeah. And then there's the car that rolls up to the gate, right?
This is the part that pissed me off because it rolls up to the gate, and clearly being observed pulling out a cell phone and taking down coordinates. Not being or knowing what he's doing, but I guess not being able to fire on him because
they didn't pull a weapon.
But they could have saved so many. I get it, I understand, but they could have saved so many. I guess
engagement.
Yeah, it is. But I guess this part aggravates me a little bit more because of the potential other scenarios that actually. Like in this movie, took place. I guess because my understanding and my personal belief is all of this,
it's like they're getting GPS
could have been avoided, but now it's slid to this far to where you're at this point, and it's almost to where everyone's accepted the fact that it's not going to be avoided, and we're just going to go balls to the wall. But these people, they turn around and they leave.
And Tonto's up there on the roof, and he's talking on the radio. He's talking to Roan. He's like, dude, I want to shoot this guy, Roan. I want to shoot this guy in the face.
Dude, Tonto sees him.
He's like, show me a weapon. Please show me a weapon. And they do something on the cell phone and just peel out of there. Right?
Did his job.
Yeah.
Did his job, but I mean, just aggravating, man, because he'll prove to be 100%
they're
correct.
doing something bad just because they don't have weapons. Yeah, that's aggravating. Yeah.
So Tonto sees these guys. These guys take off. After these guys take off, it's not even an hour. It's an hour, half hour later.
It's a little bit later. I think the French lady, the CIA agent who's gotten nice now, does try to call in an airstrike. She tries again to get these F-16s that are on a carrier nearby. I think to do a fly, and they won't do it. Yeah, and then it hits the fan.
Hell breaks loose.
Yeah. Yep, shows these guys. There's a pretty cool slow motion scene. It shows some of the ISIS fighters, and they have like a mortar set up, and they're like click click, 2 clicks up, 1 click left, whatever. And it shows the first mortar fire, and it shows like the mortar fly up in the air, and it's kind of spinning around, and it shows it like going through the air, coming towards
beautiful photography.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
going towards the CIA base, and then at least 5 or 6 or 7 like huge explosions. One hits one building.
Just one after another.
Yeah.
Mortars just flying down.
One hits one building, and Oz, it's one that he's on, dude gets his arm, I mean, basically like blowing off. He gets like 90% off.
It's hanging on by like flesh and
Yeah.
like tendons.
There's a scene of him like running away, and his arm's like this, but it's turned over. It's over on this side, flopping, hanging on by like, I mean,
Yeah.
not much. Yeah. So one hits there. One of the State Department guys, Dave, like the cooler one, the one that wasn't all shell shocked and like just super shitty driver. He was cool, man. A couple times he was like, he could have left earlier or something. He's like, nah, man, I'm with you guys. Like I'm in it till the end or something. Remember that part?
Yep.
Anyway, it's like downtime, and Roan, like right before the mortars fall, he's like, all right, man, go ahead and go downstairs. I think he's telling him like get ready to head out to the airport or something. To get on the plane. That's what I remember. I said Roan, told him to get ready to get out of there. And so he's downstairs. He totally gets effed. Like a mortar hits that building, and blows his leg just clean off. That guy's like out a leg.
Okay, wait. No, that's not the translator guy, is it?
No.
That reminded me of the translator guy
because
they're like,
translator guy.
they go,
Ahmed, I think.
Yeah. They go, hey, you leave. This is where your part's over with.
No. Dude,
I mean,
Ahmed,
where's he supposed to go? Yeah. Hey guys, I'm back, and I'm done helping the U.S. forces against.
I mean, it's his city. I think. I mean, it seemed like it was assumed like he could, just get out pretty easily. Like, well, while the attack was in between attacks or whatever.
But I mean, all these people are going to recognize.
Yeah.
I mean, I would assume all these people are going to recognize who he is.
Yeah.
So you're better off just staying with. You're still trying to, as long as you can.
I thought he was like super brave though.
He was. I'm not downplaying his bravery one bit.
Yeah, they put this guy through some mess, and I mean, he looks like kind of like a button-down like nerd with glasses, like Libyan dude.
He stuck it through, but I mean, my ultimate like thing is like, where was he supposed to go? Yeah. I mean, I think he was brave as well, but I mean, where?
Do you think they're telling him to go down like with the CIA? Because they had like 25 CIA people. Do you think they're just telling him to go back with all of them, or?
They very well could have. Like I said, this is my first time seeing it. Great movie. I just didn't. I thought to when that part came up, I'm like, okay, that's a little. That sounded like, okay, hey, look, we're basically done. But I'd like to think that our government wouldn't just cut ties like with people like that and go, all right, you're free now. But judging from the exact story we're talking about,
basically they didn't cut ties with them, but they just left them.
It's not the soldiers' choices.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's.
Yeah. There's a term or for basic training, OTF. They left them out there flapping. There's no support, no nothing.
Dude, that is awful. That is awful, and that made me feel sad. A lot of emotions provoked during this movie.
Yeah.
Strong emotions against certain things that happen. We'll dive into.
And we're getting close to it. There are theories about what happened that we're gonna get into very soon. We're about wrapped up with the storyline of the movie. So let's see here. State guy sent down by Roan, leg blown off. Mortars of they've shelled the CIA place to where like everybody like in the kind of like the underground bunker area is okay, but all the outpost buildings where all the GRS guys are, they're just in tatters. Everything's just messed up. They're barely holding on. Everybody's kind of shot up and everything. And Tonto's up on the building again, the same one where he was with the guy with the cell phone rolled up. And all these technical vehicles come pulling up, and they have a police escort. And they don't know who the hell they are.
Nope.
Like it's obviously a militia. They got like the technical vehicles, like pickup trucks with like 50 cals, machine guns, like mounted in the back and everything, like ready to go. And they all roll up and park in a line in front of their front gate, and they're all just kind of looking at the outpost. I think kind of deciding whether or not to help them, like whether or not it's like worth it, because it does turn out that it's Feb 17 again.
It does.
Yeah.
But what about even before Feb 17 showed up? What about like the cops that showed up, and then turns out that they were almost either helping or cowering too.
Yeah, it's weird. You don't really know who the Libyan like police. I mean, it's some kind of police force. It's cop cars with bubble lights on top.
Yep.
But yeah, you don't really know who they're helping, why they're helping. And it looked like they're helping the terrorists earlier on, and so like they get a police escort. That doesn't really mean anything.
No.
It could be anybody.
It's a job, right? Just like anywhere else, and they're going to be corrupt to whatever government's running or trying to run.
Yeah. There's just a lot of factions and stuff. But yeah, anyways, Tonto up on the roof again, looking at him, talking on the radio with his gun. I mean, he's hurt, and he's like, crap, we're probably going to die and everything. And then he remembers the buyback program part. And he does a little hang loose to the guy. And one of the guys in the Jeeps does it back to him. I think he starts crying, and, we're not going to die, like, right now. And everything. They let him in, February 17th comes in, and kind of helps him out and stuff. And that's basically the end of it.
Wonderful, beautiful ending to it as well. I mean, obviously, it could be better, all things said, but I'm talking about as far as the physical altercations go. Beautiful ending to it. Super, super good.
Yep, and they do have reinforcements finally show up. Remember the other guys that were in the airport trying to just get there for like half of the second half of the movie.
Yeah.
Glenn, the other military guy, they show up like after February 17th does, and basically that's like the end. It shows, remember the CIA chief? Bobby sitting in the chair, like he doesn't want to leave. He's like, no, I'm going to stay here. There's more work to be done. They're loading up and getting ready to go to the airport, and he was like, he won't leave. And I can't remember who comes up to him. Was it Roan?
No, it was Jim? Sexy Man Jim from The Office, dude. No, this guy, just so we're on the same page, tell me if I'm wrong here, but my impression right there is this guy is
he's a dude.
Trying to be almost a heroic figure at the end here. And he's trying to go, no, I'm going to stay here. There's more work to be done. That type of bullshit. But and then all of a sudden he gets put in his place by Sexy Jim.
Mm-hmm.
And
he says, I wrote down it's not exactly what he said, but he walks over to him. He's like sitting in a chair. He's like, get up, dude. Get the hell out of here. Or more guys like me are going to have to come and die to save your ass.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Yeah.
Yep. That pissed me off too.
This is the chief he's been like a dick to it. The GRS guys like
denying him,
looking down on him, gave the stand down order.
It was his fault in there that essentially Stevens died.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
he gets his orders. Yeah, he gets his orders from higher up too. But I mean, yeah.
I mean, but at what point? That's why to me this was a very heroic thing, because somebody had enough sense to go, you know what? Okay, I get the orders. I get how this works. Fuck it, we're rolling out. Let's go.
And that's what they eventually did.
Yes.
But I mean, he could have been a human too. Before, they could have been there a couple hours earlier. And they say in the movie, it's like, crap, we could have saved all these guys if we'd have just left like right when it happened. But they can't. I guess they could have, because they did eventually. But
great movie.
Yeah.
Excellent movie.
That basically wraps up the movie. We're gonna get into some theories right now, but like in the end credits, the CIA chief we're just talking about, he gets a prestigious intelligence service medal and retires, and the GRS guys get contractor intelligence medals in a private ceremony, and that's kind of like in the end credits. Oh, and also I think the State Department puts Oz, right? They enlist him back in the military so that he can get, this is really cool, he was the one that got his arm like blown like almost all the way off. Yes. They put him back into the military so he can get the best medical care and stuff. That was a cool thing.
And his arm?
Dude, he can use it. I don't know how well he can use it, but it says he regained use of his left arm.
That is amazing.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Amazing.
Yep. Poor Dave, man. He's legless Dave for the rest of his life. And yeah. So anyway, dude.
Those are the sacrifices, man, that we appreciate and take for granted.
That's why we take a second at the beginning.
That's right. That's right.
Because I was in the military, but I didn't see anything. I just went to Korea. It was right after September 11th when I got out. So I mean, we weren't really at war with anybody except for Korea. All right.
What are some of the alternative issues of whose fault this is, of not only for someone to take responsibility, but I mean the buck's got to stop at somebody eventually, you know?
You think so?
So I mean, I'd be interested to get in with you a little bit of what some certain scenarios are, like what some conspiracy theories, for lack of a better term, that's coming to my mind. What would be? Do you have any example of those?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. This is my favorite part. I've been waiting to get into this. So I'm just gonna start with the beginning. I think ISIS rioted and attacked first for three reasons. First, because it was on 9/11. Second, it was in response to the death of Osama bin Laden. I think it was the year before that SEAL Team 6 got Osama bin Laden.
Okay.
And also because the consulate and the CIA base, they were a soft target, and Chris Stevens got like a ton of publicity. Remember all those reporters coming into his press conference and everything, dude? I mean, it was a lot of publicity, and I think it was just a soft, easy target.
Yeah.
I mean, he had three bodyguards. So what I've written down is fake news. The cartoon, the dumb cartoon that was making fun of Muhammad was basically just grabbed up by the media, and it was spin to shift blame from Al-Qaeda and ISIS to make it seem like it was just like a normal like riot of like Muslim people and not terrorists. The whole thing is to get everybody off of terrorism, because it was 2 months away from the 2012 presidential election, and Obama looked like he was going to win and everything, and he basically didn't want any bad publicity. And that's why a lot of people think, like, there was a stand-down order. They didn't want to turn it into, like, a big conflict and stuff, even though Americans were going to die.
Right.
They didn't want to send more troops in, do anything else, because that would hit the news. That would be in the news, and that would look really bad for a president who was kind of, at the time, running on getting Osama bin Laden and basically, like, crushing Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing as ISIS. They just changed the name, again, just as a diversion,
Yeah, no.
Yep. Okay. So, you have mainstream media working with the government to make sure Obama won the 2012 presidential election. It's pretty messed up if that's true. The stand-down order was to avoid a bigger conflict that would make Obama look bad. Okay. And so I have something I think everybody should do if this is something that like really interests you and you want to like learn more about it. Just search engine Chris Stevens and Snopes. It'll pop up. That's the fact-checking site supposedly.
Yeah.
And they don't really have any facts for Benghazi, but it does have a lot of interesting stuff. They basically have two versions. They have the official media version that was put out to most Americans, and then they have like the conspiracy theory kind of version.
Which was essentially that he died of smoke inhalation.
Yeah. The mainstream media, all they reported was like CNN and everybody else. Their storyline was Chris Stevens, after the riot, was found in a ditch by a group of Libyans, and they all took him to a hospital where he was like barely alive. But it said that he had no external injuries when he got to the hospital, and they were all like super psyched because they knew he was the ambassador, and they're saying like Allahu Akbar and all this stuff because Chris Stevens is still alive, and this is what was on the mainstream media news.
Right.
And that was the story, and then he died at the hospital of smoke inhalation. I personally don't really believe that. That doesn't.
Seems a little too convenient.
Well, it doesn't track, especially when you have the other, like I said, Snopes doesn't have a definite answer, but they have kind of what was on the mainstream media, and then they have the other version, which was Chris Stevens' cousin is a retired U.S. Navy chaplain, retired pastor, and he said, because he had some kind of contacts and stuff, and everything that he found out through his contacts and stuff, Chris Stevens was raped, his genitals were cut off, like they pissed on him.
So it gets into some graphic
set him
shit.
on fire. Yeah. They said when he was dead or almost dead, they did like a dance of death, and like a big group of people where they're kind of throwing his body, like dead body or almost dead body, back and forth and just doing messed up stuff to him. Like they sodomized him, and then he was left for dead, and maybe taken to a hospital or whatever. Yeah, and you can look at all this stuff. Like I said, if you're supposed to trust Snopes, you can go there. They're the fact-checking site, and they will have all this there. These are the top two kind of articles they had about it. And I don't know. That's personally kind of what I believe, is it was like a cover-up during a presidential election.
No, we agree on that 100%. Yeah. We agree on that 100%. And essentially, I guess this is why Hillary Clinton was getting so much.
She was the head of the State Department, or Secretary of Defense.
Department of Defense.
And so basically, you said the bucks should stop somewhere, right? I mean, that's kind of she was the top of the mountain, and that's why there's a lot of information, and that's why this movie is so interesting.
I love this movie. This movie is one of the best military movies I've ever seen, along with Tears of the Sun. I love Tears of the Sun as well.
Yeah.
if you can leave us a comment or leave us a comment if you have more information or you've been doing this research on what happened in Benghazi for a long time, let us know because we're super interested.
Yeah, if somebody, I mean, if you have some good stuff you can give us, I mean, maybe we can do like a short follow-up video or something. You
Absolutely.
know?
I'm totally willing to. Yeah, let's do it.
That'd be cool.
So let us know. Remember, hey, we give this movie a super 5-star out of 5 stars.
Yep.
Super thumbs up. I think I speak for both.
Awesome movie. Yeah.
So this movie was kind of a tearjerker for me a little bit.
And a few spots. Yeah.
There's a couple spots where I was like,
And we had family in the military. I had family in the military. Did a short 3-year tour in the military. Everybody knows a soldier. And I mean, these guys, the GRS guys, they were just basically, I mean, soldiers that couldn't quit. They, retired or got out of the military, and they still were taking contracts because, that's what they did. All, pretty patriotic guys and everything, and
so make sure to check out 13 Hours. This is Chris and Chris in the trenches.
Yep.
And
hey,
thank you so much for tuning in.
Subscribe. Ring that bell, right? Like, subscribe, ring that bell.
Share. All right. Thank you so much.